Hi guys, here is another one of my custom action figure short pieces. A bit of a cross section. Obviously, as a big Batman fan, there's an emphasis on Batman, but these figures can't really fit in with the ones that I did based on the '66 TV show, although one of them will, as you'll see. I'll start from the left hand side, and I always wanted a Batman figure that looked kind of more like the one that was on the box artwork for the original Mego figure, and hopefully with this guy I've kind of achieved that. I wanted one that reflected the 1960s, what's referred to as new look Batman, when they went away from the kind of huge barrel chested alien fighting 1950s and early 60s version that a lot of people kind of remember. They was always in the reprints in the 60s and 70s, but this was the kind of comic look that they used as inspiration for the TV show. The head artwork, the head sculpt is from Mego Customizer, very nice lady called Polyester, Laurie Halbritta. I painted it. The rest of it, really, there wasn't a great deal of work from me. It was just a head paint for me. I wanted this one to try and look as close to a what if Mego had really done it type of thing. So to that end, I used an actual Mego jumpsuit, no alteration to the trunks, a Hasbro signature series, I believe it was called, belt, which pretty much works for me. It's very much to the style of the 1960s utility belt, and it fits. I used the circular chest emblem, which was often how artists drew it. The head is kind of, hopefully, a sort of a Carmine Infantino look, but I think personally it looks more like the artist Chick Stone, his version of the character. But again, that's not a problem for me. It's the period of Batman that I was hoping to capture with this figure. As I say, it's a proper Mego cape, but I've dyed it a little bit darker to make it match the gloves and the boots and the head paint. The gloves are classic plastic, where's my cue, but in a Mego size. And again, I wanted it to look kind of toy-like, and these gloves work excellently for that, rather than using the oven mitts, which are not the greatest things in the world, although obviously they've got a lot of charm, and that's what I wanted in a real Mego. But with a custom, I wanted to do something a bit different. Actual Mego Klingon boots, which I generally use rather than the superhero ones. They're more snug fit. These were repainted by me, but cut in the classic Batman style. As ever, very, very nice box from Mike Rogers. Again, replicating the style of the original boxes, but with different artwork. I was always a little bit disappointed with the artwork, and certainly as an older collector I couldn't quite understand why they used some of the choices they did. Obviously they used what was supplied to them, but I think these ones very much signify the classic mid-60s or certainly by the mid-70s images of the characters that young kids would have expected, and I was one of them. I think I was 8 when I got my first Mego superhero in about 1972. But there you go, beautiful piece of artwork there, and a slight change to the colour as well, just to make it look kind of original but still to the spirit of the old ones. Moving on to another TV related figure. This is Adam West as he appeared in the Batman screen test, very much in the style of the early 60s Batman. The big bat without the yellow shield. He had more like a combat ammo pouch belt thing going on, and there's a variety of different fabrics, whereas mostly it was the shiny satin. For the TV show they used the satin cape, but kind of wool or heavy cotton trunks, satin cufflets, but then there was the wool hand pieces or the heavy cotton hand pieces. The pointy ears, I used the Dice Man head, but sanded off the ears and made these more pointy, kind of floppy devil-like ears, which is what he had. Pretty pleased with that guy. Moving on to a larger size, this is using the Doctor Who 10-inch body, This is meant to be Lewis Wilson from the 1943 Batman serial. I actually sculpted the mask on this one. It was a generic kind of bald head, hero head that Dr. Mego does, and excuse me, I sculpted the head over the top. It actually has come out looking a little bit more like the Robert Lowry 1949 Batman, but it gives an overall kind of generic look. It's a Dr. Mego jumpsuit with the feet cut out so that it fits this larger body. I made the belt in the style of the one that Lewis Wilson had. I made the trunks. The boots are, I think, Big Jim boots cut down because that's the kind of size. I made the cufflets, I made the cape. Obviously it was a shorter cape that he wore in the serial. Overall, pretty pleased with this guy. Probably the hardest job of all was hand cutting the emblem for the chest. Not an easy job, certainly not for me. I did that pretty much all day, I think, one Saturday. Moving on now to another serial superhero, and I think for me, possibly I would say this was the best custom figure I've ever done. Tom Tyler as Captain Marvel. I did this about 3 or 4 years ago. It was a Brian Leitner jumpsuit, but I added the chest flap. I made the cape myself. The cufflets were material with gold tape to add the sections to it. I was pretty pleased with how this guy came out. The head paint is by myself. It's a shrink of the Mego Flash Gordon, so it's not a Tom Tyler head, but it's a kind of a handsome generic 1930s or 40s guy with that hairstyle, so it kind of works. Obviously the actual costume in the serial was grey, but who wants a grey Captain Marvel figure? I wanted it to look as he would have sort of done in the comics. Perhaps shouldn't have done the boots gold. I may do that a kind of a tan colour, because I know the suede of the boots were a tanny beige or a tanny yellow colour. Hand cut the chest emblem, which you had to do twice to get the white edging to it. A little bit oversized, but again, for a Mego thing it works. Moving on to the last guy is a character that I very much fell for during the middle to latter part of the 70s as an early teenage Marvel Comics reader. He was a real guy, a stuntman, an Evel Knievel type character, but he was masked, and I saw him on a sports show in England, and absolutely went potty for him because he was like a real masked superhero type. And then within a year, Marvel did a comic about him. But the Human Fly, I asked Mike Rogers again to do him on a card for me, because this would have been the period where they did carded figures, and obviously the logo is appropriate to the period. That's the front cover artwork. In fact, Carmine Infantino did the artwork inside for the issue 1 of the Human Fly Marvel comic, but it's a Dr. Mego jumpsuit, but everything else I did. Dr. Mego boots, Klingon again, cut down, painted the right colour. I did the cape very much in the style of the Captain Marvel one, because that was the style he wore. I did the belt. He had a swagger stick, as they call them. The head was from eBay, but overall this was kind of the figure I always would have wanted as a kid. I captured there's a photo of the actual Human Fly as well, but again, just a cross section of action figures that I've made over the last few years. I hope you guys enjoy looking at them. I might do maybe 1 or 2 more with some more TV Batman characters, but there you go. Some mishmash, oddball mixtures of characters I've done, superhero, comic and Batman. So thanks again for watching, people. Cheers.